Boys, la noche, boa noite, bonsoir, good evening, buenas noches. First of all, let me share this live with my good esteemed friends. 1 second. Oh, here we go. I was just about to send it through to you, Mr. Balthus Day Game. I was literally about to send this through to you guys, so let me just share it with the Bratva first of all. Forward this to Bratva back here, and then also Bratva as well. Anyone else who want to forward it to, that'll do for the time being. None of the leads, no, that's okay. None of the girlies need to tune in for this one. Let me forward it to Entourage as well. So here we are, the middle of week 4, Belgrade. What an incredible month it has been. What scenes have been witnessed in the city of Belgrade as we make history, manospheric history, on a daily basis. So let me just send this through to the lads in Entourage, just in case anyone's up, they want to tune in. I'll just put this in here, boys. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Right, you're in the restaurant. Okay, so boys, well, you're my audience anyway. Let me go and get my notes. But before I get into that, I'm just going to do a quick review of the last few weeks. I don't think I've done a live since I was about to leave in Manchester. So for posterity, here is what has happened in the last 3 weeks. Arrival on Friday, three and a half weeks ago, and get into my apartment, have 2 shots of rakia with my landlord because he's an absolute legend. He's offered to score me drugs and other things on multiple occasions. He's quite insistent, but I've said, my friend, is fine, I'm clean living, but I appreciate the offer. He's actually a quality guy as well. I actually take that as a sign of good character, that my landlord will offer me all these illicit things. I think it's great. So yeah, I had a couple of shots with him, a couple of protein bars, and got focused and got myself. I think went to meet Balthus on night 1, and then we pretty much just got stuck in on day 2, which was a Saturday. We just started approaching. We walked 40 kilometers all over the city. Mystery Princess, I'm sorry, love. You have to go, aren't you? Sorry. I don't know what you're selling your recipes for. That's a bit strange. So yeah, we just got straight in on day 2. Walked 40 kilometers, did a bunch of approaches. Already we're getting options by the evening of day 2. So first day out, I remember already getting options. I've still got some of those contacts. Sunday, hit it again. Same again. Ratchet it up. Thick and fast. And again, getting options on day 2. Day 3, I normally would not do a 3rd day of approach, but the Belgian Bond wants to go out, I'm out as well. So I remember that day 3 because I'd said to myself, in the first week, I want to meet someone that's going to interest me for the rest of the summer. I know I'm going to meet loads of girls, but I want to meet someone who I'm going to be engaging with for the rest of the summer. And that's when it happened on day 3. 3. What's day? Sati 3, no, whatever it is, yeah, but day 3, anyway, is when I met someone quite interesting, who I've been in touch with ever since. So that was day 3, and it just went on and on and on and on. I think the first 2 weeks, probably barely took a night off, maybe 1 or 2 evenings off, pretty much out every single day for 2 weeks straight. It was intense, loads of instant dates, loads of just fun experiences, most of all, lots of learning. The big learning curve for both of us is a second immersion for me and Balthus, second day game immersion. So yeah, we started to move into lots more just, instant dates now for us is pretty much just walk out onto the strip at 11 and we will just find an instant date. It's just a guarantee. So yeah, that was good. The first 2 weeks, it was amazing. In fact, seeing meeting some new characters here as well, running an immersion here as well. And then we had the arrival of Hull University, aka Permaset, who just came in as like a new weapon, a new high caliber weapon, a machine gun, an approach machine gun. So yeah, so he kind of brought some new energy into our thing, and so yeah, we've been going around as a trio ever since then. Had some fun little nights. Yeah, I remember going to the club of like last week. That was sick. Going to Splava last week. This is like a boat on the water playing Serbian turbo folk. So that was an interesting experience. SB came down as well. A friend from Bosnia came down. So we had quite the pack in Belgrade. You know, we had an American, a Belgian, a Bosnian, a Serbian. Serbian, myself, an Englishman. So we had all sorts down here, and yeah, it was an excellent opening few weeks. And I would say actually this week is probably the first week. I started to calm down a little bit last week, and this week I've definitely calmed down in terms of approach. I don't really have too much in the tank, to be honest. This week I've already got more than enough options. I was looking through my phone book and Instas and stuff, and it's like, yeah, there's already more than enough options there. And I don't know about other guys. I find with pipelines, I don't need to. I find I can actually respark pipelines quite easily. I can respark girls quite easily, often, not every time, but very often. So my pipeline, some guys like it's like they meet the girl, then they're out with the girl the same day or the following day, or it just disappears, or within a week. I actually find it very easy to pipeline girls over a couple of weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, 5 days, but easily up to 2 weeks. Maybe after 2, 3 weeks it can fade, but I've met with girls recently a month after I've taken the number. So I think there is something to text game, so to speak. I think it is actually a thing. So I've got enough options basically for the rest of the summer, essentially. So this week I've just kind of been chilling a little bit. And that's going to bring me into my notes here. It's going to bring me into my notes here. Yeah, the last thing I'll say about that is, I think we were out the other day, and I found I was kind of just doing some approaches for the sake of it, which you can do, but at a certain point, they become inauthentic, and it's better just to rest and just like chill out until you feel you actually want to. I've had that a few times in the past because you can't quite treat cold approach just as training in the same way that you train like I train the gym. It's not quite the same. You do have to have an authentic motivation and curiosity to go and speak to the girl. If you're purely doing it out of, I don't know, just almost a feel of obligation because you're doing this professionally, it sort of becomes false and it doesn't really work. You need that authenticity in your approach. So that's my preamble. If we've got 8 people in here today, this is excellent. Yeah, so I talked about pipelines there. The first thing I want to talk about here is the alpha. The alpha. What is the alpha? Something I've been thinking about this last couple of weeks. And how relevant is being a quote-unquote alpha to approach? I think this is really interesting. So there's all the talk of like alpha males and beta males and all this. Absolutely, it's got ridiculous, right? It's got ridiculous. What constitutes an alpha? What constitutes a beta, etc. All of this, and I think it's a very unhelpful way of thinking about things. I think it's a very unhelpful way about thinking about things because, to an extent, being an alpha male is there is some element of culture to it. So let's say, for example, the sort of loud kind of American alpha male, that's different to the Japanese, leader of the Yakuza, yeah, who is most certainly a fucking alpha male, who probably barely talks. Yeah, same with a lot of the Slavic guys. They barely fucking talk, some of these guys. As compared with maybe the super sociable, outgoing Dominican guy. Or, yeah, you've got all these different types. Ian, what's up, mate? You've got all these different types of so-called alphas or whatever. So I don't think it's very helpful for people doing cold approach. And I actually think as well, a lot of it tends towards more, the more aggressive kind of leadership type, like leader amongst men. That's good. That is good. It's a good archetype. But for cold approach, that's actually not very helpful at all. It's not very helpful. It's actually very counterproductive because you're going over to a woman in the day who is inherently vulnerable, uh, despite all the bullshit and all the bravado they've got and all the bullshit, that the simple fact is that practically any woman in the street, this is a fucked up thing to think about, could be killed by practically any man without even the use of weapons, right? They are factually vulnerable, right? We obviously live in civilization, yeah, we're not barbarians. This is not gonna happen, but that is still in their instinct. Like imagine you get hassled in the street or whatever. It's the same for women. It's the same for women, but it's 100 times worse for women because they've got no ability to defend themselves at all, even from one guy, even from one out of shape 50-year-old man. Your average 25-year-old woman can do nothing, right? Nothing at all. There's literally nothing they can do. It's like tensile strength at the hands and stuff. There's nothing they can do, right? Even if they're big, they're not that strong in most cases. So the first thing they need to feel instinctively, without even knowing it, the first thing they need to feel is this is a friendly-ish face. That doesn't mean you have to be pussy. It doesn't mean you don't have any edge to you. But yet you can't be an actual threat to them. As soon as the threat thing goes high, it's game over. You're done. You're absolutely done. Your approach is finished, right? And so the whole thing with like the alpha, dominant alpha and things like that's got to be brought right down in cold approach. That's not going to work with cold approach. You need to be relaxed. You need to be confident, but you don't want to be threatening, right? You can bring that more dominant energy, save that for the bedroom, save that for further down the line, maybe even bring a bit of it into the date a little bit, yeah? But you don't need that on the approach. It's just totally unhelpful. So that's something I think that's probably useful for guys. Maybe you've consumed a lot of like red pill or alpha type stuff. It's not relevant to cold approach at all. It's not relevant. So I would actually avoid. There's times in my sets where I'm like, I listen to it, I look back at it and go, I'm almost a little bit beta there in the set. And the reason I'm doing that, the only reason I'm doing that is to not intimidate the girl. Yeah, because I've had it in the past where I would go over to sets and I'm sure there were lots of things I was doing wrong, but the main thing I noticed, I could see fear in the girl's eye, actual fear. It's maybe I'm a skinhead, I've got a beard, I just look a weird old man going over to them. So I would rather edge on the side of being a little bit too friendly, even if like a little bit beta. I don't give a shit. I just need to get into the conversation, right? My true, you can't show your full character in a cold approach anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think one of the best ways to convey kind of social dominance and social confidence, maybe in a way you are kind of an alpha actually, is when you're going in very fun and confident. That is all you really need. You don't need to be conflictive, right? Fun and confident. Fun and confident. That is basically as alpha as you need to be. So let's have a look at the next topic here. Yeah, I said come in on the back end with that stuff. And yeah, I would say if anything I've learned over the last few weeks, I would say it's cold approach is all about your vibe. That's all it fucking is. The technique often can go out the fucking window, if we're being honest. It actually can. We know what we're trying to do. We're trying to stop the girl. We're trying to do a proficient stop and smooth and all that type of thing. We know what we're trying to do. Pay their own compliment, lead the conversation forward, set up a date, get the digits, etc., or go on an instant date. We know what the routine is. But ultimately it comes down to vibe. That's what it comes down to. And that vibe is created by how you are feeling inside. That's where the vibe comes from. The vibe is created by what is coming out of me. That's what sets the vibe. Yeah, that's what sets the vibe. The actual technical side, it does require some refinement for sure, especially for beginners. But once you've got that, there's only so much technique you can have. And I've actually found consistently, probably in the last 10 days, the less technique I have, the better my approaches are going because I just don't really care. Yeah, that's a good point, Ian. You can't fake a cold approach, yeah. It's if you go to, yeah, the whole idea of being alpha, it just doesn't even work in cold approach. If you're going in, that's confident enough. But I do think as well, this is what I'm saying here, it's about your vibe. It's about your vibe. I've seen it close up because I'm operating with I'm operating the guys I'm operating with this last few months, specifically Sinner to Winner, and Balthus and Ephraim. These guys are animals, man. They're animals, and one of the commonalities between all three is the vibe they're coming in with. Positive vibes coming in, yeah. Different vibes, but positive. And I find it myself like I can do one approach and I can just nail it straight on, straight down the pike. First time out, no warm up, no nothing. Bang. You're the one I want. Hey, what's up? And that's just vibe. That's just vibe. The actual technique pretty much just goes out the window. And yeah, this last week, I've only really enjoyed in the last week approaches where things were kind of quote unquote fucked up. They deviated off the normal path of stop, compliment, da da da. When things got weird, like there's a group or the girls don't stop and they don't speak English, that's when I start to get excited. That's when I start to have fun. So my vibe starts to lift. So yeah, it really is all about vibe. And this is something I've seen again with guys who are absolutely fucking atrocious that I've had the misfortune of meeting out here. A couple of guys, and I'm just like, I watch them going for the approaches, and I'm like, yeah, they're just getting constant. They're just freaks, basically. You know, well, your vibe is atrocious. When you talk to me, I want to get away from you, bruv. So when you go over to the girls, I imagine they feel the same way, like twitchy, demented, uncalibrated energy. It's horrible. It's horrible energy to be around. So yeah, it's all right saying this. I don't think bravery should come into it, to be honest. It's just confidence. It's not brave to go and talk to a woman. What the fuck are they gonna do to you? After a certain amount of time, after you've done 100 approaches, it's not really brave anymore. It's just like you should really just be able to do it. Definitely for beginners, it actually is brave for beginners. But after a certain amount of time, you know, it shouldn't really be the case anymore. So I think, yeah, that's I think a lot of guys who are in the space, they need to actually, you know, there's the guy I saw the other day in the street. He shouldn't be in the street at all. He should be in psychotherapy. He should be working with a therapist. Got major problems, obviously, very obviously got major problems. Yeah. So yeah, you gotta have good vibe, man. You gotta have good vibe, and that's what is gonna win the day. It's gonna be pretty polarizing, to be honest with you. And yeah, and I think a lot of guys don't understand this in the modern world as well because of the whole red pill space and the whole manosphere, and it's particularly the way it's gone in the last 10 years. I would say looks, money, status is just it's pretty retarded, to be honest. You know, the people that buy into that, first of all, the people that sell it are frauds. They're complete frauds in most cases, and I know if you saw into the back of their personal lives, they'd have very strange, weird personal lives, if any at all. And off the back of that, it's selling to the blind. It's people, they're selling to like virgins and guys who are like abysmally unsuccessful with women. So guys who are selling to this group, they don't know anything, these guys, right? They don't have any experience. They don't really know what to look for. And they're getting sold on all of this crap. You know, it's total fucking crap. Weak bullshit. And it's basically appealing to weak men and men who, or just clueless men, or both, or all of the above, you know, or just guys who just, for one reason or another, and often it's not their own fault, actually. It's often, you know, a series of things happened to them when they were children, quite often. So, yeah, appealing to this group and offering them nothing, basically, offering them like complete fucking snake oil. And so yeah, so this is a massive problem in this particularly in the last 10 years. I actually think the Neil Strauss, just like all the tricks and game type shit, I actually think that was mildly better than looks, money, status, jaw maxing. I don't know, just it's fucking bizarre shit that's going on, really, at this point. So yeah, the people that buy into that and the people that believe that religiously, what I notice with the content producers and even the guys who espouse it, they typically have no personality. They typically have no personality, no charisma, no sense of humor, no force of character. You know, yeah, no character basically, no character or personality. I think, well, yeah, that's the way you see the world, because that probably is the only way you can pull based on something of looks and something of cash, because you literally have no personality and you have no understanding of how the female vagina works, basically, like how their psychology works. It just doesn't, they just don't fucking know. They don't know anything. Um, yeah, I know this is the case. If this wasn't the case, if it was the case that looks, money, status with everything, I would not have been able to bang rich guys' wives, which I fucking have. Okay? Not for a while, to be fair, but I have done it in the past, and I've got friends who, you know, done 10 times more damage than me on that regard. So if it was all about looks, money, status, I've even known girls who've complained about their guy boyfriends who's a literal fucking model. One guy, I actually used him as a model in my business for a photo shoot, and I remember his girl fucking on a different night complaining about him because basically he was basically a fucking pussy. Um, so yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but work on the charisma, work on the confidence, the looks you want to take care of, the money, that all needs to be taken care of. But it's just a crutch, and yeah, it's just crutch for losers, basically. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Um, so AJ, Joel Maxing, um, how to balance uh, Susan. Okay, so we've got Susan in here. That's interesting. Wait, that's great. Susan, cold approaching. I love it, Susan. Get in there. I'm interested to know, Susan. So you did one cold approach. You asked the guy out based on his tattoos. I've done the tattoo open before. Tattoos aren't really my thing, but I have done it once or twice, a couple of times in Belgrade. Yeah, Susan. How did you take that rejection, Susan? But it wasn't really a rejection, was it? Because he was married. But anyway. So AJ, how to manage between day game and fitness? I mean, there's nothing. What do you mean? There's nothing to manage. What are you talking about, mate? You just go. You go to the gym when you go to the gym. You go and do daytime approach when you do daytime approach. Human, you're a Nigerian prince. You lost your wallet. Amazing. What made me start the cold approach? No, I was fine with girls before. I wouldn't say I'm good with girls. Like I don't like that term because it's like which girls? Like the girls my brother would date, I was not good with because I thought they were morons. The girls I would date, he wasn't great with because he thought they were different or something. I don't know. Yeah, it depends on what girls. Depends on what girls. There is no universal personality of women. 90% of the girls I meet, I've got no interest in even spending any time with at all. So I don't consider myself good with girls in that respect. I know how to talk to them. I do know how to talk to them, but you can't be good with every woman. It's like, you know, you can get what you want, yeah. But yeah, in terms of like, yeah, just to clarify that anyway, because I think guys need to realize this. You are not going to appeal to every woman, and nor should you want to, nor should you want to. And if you can connect with everyone, you can't connect with anyone, basically. So, what made me start with cold approach? Cold approach is just a word, it's just a phrase that I prefer just normal interaction. That's how I look at it. In terms of like nighttime, going into nighttime, I started that when I was 15. I went out to clubs when I was 15, so I'd meet girls there. I don't know if we ever talked to girls in the street sometimes, I can't really remember. I don't think so. And so obviously, yeah, nighttime, you're just interacting in clubs. And then daytime approach specifically in the context of the street and the malls, that I came into at 37 because I wanted to do it, and I'd done it a little bit in Dominican Republic. But when I got out into Eastern Europe, I realized I just lacked the skills, I lacked the camaraderie, I lacked the mentality. I had no fucking clue what I was doing. So yeah, that was in Macedonia 2 years ago. could barely approach, and the girls I did approach, it wasn't going well. I remember scaring a couple of those girls actually. And so yeah, I went and got trained, and because I didn't want to be spending all my time in clubs anymore, you know, yeah. So yeah, so that's I was moving out of nightlife into daytime approach. That was really the transition point for me. 37. Product market fit, yeah. Susan, I was absolutely fine about it. For me, not everyone liked me, want to date me, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me, yeah. So exactly, Susan's got the right mentality, lads. Well done, Susan. Get cold approaching. Okay, so yeah, so as I said there, guys that go down the looks maxing route, basically because they have no personality, or that they invest heavily in that mentality because it's an excuse for them for the fact they don't have a personality, basically. Um, they've not been around guys, and this is the thing. I realize I've put myself intentionally around guys who've got good characters, who've got engaging characters. I even quite enjoy going out with guys who were borderline like almost nutters because they will at least make things happen. So I actually like going out with guys like that. It's like going out with like a wild hyena at your side or something like that. You go into the street, this guy, you got to fucking pull him in on a leash sometimes. I actually like guys like that as well, because at least they get into things. At least they've got character. They might get kicked out of clubs and things like that, but at least they've got character. So, I'm realizing a lot of people, especially in this internet era, they've never really been around people with charisma, so they don't even know what it looks like. I think there's a lot of people they literally don't know what charismatic, confident men even look like. They've never even seen them, to be honest. There's fewer and fewer of them knocking around. So when you see it, it's like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, that's what it is. So you need to get yourself around people like that. Yeah. Okay. AJ. Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you for the compliment. That's very kind of you. So yes, and I'm coming on to the next topic now, which is the true seducer. The true seducer. I was thinking about this week as well. Actual true seducers. That's maybe even more rare than the guy with charisma. Well, it's about as rare. I'm definitely out here with one of them, Balthus. He's definitely a true seducer. He's a seducer in the streets. Yeah, Ephraim Paul University is also definitely a seducer as well, but he's more like I think he's more methodical. I would say. I think his overall structure to daytime approaching is very similar to mine, which is just like express desire to the girl, get her contact, and then the seduction can come later on the dates and stuff like that. Yeah? That's his overall type of vibe, right? Mr. Balthus, on the other hand, he's actually a seducer in the set, which is really cool to see. But yeah, true seducers are actually rare. They're actually rare. Probably the place I'm most seductive, let's say early on, is definitely the dance floor. I can definitely seduce on the dance floor pretty easily. It's kind of designed for that, basically. It's like that's the whole point, yeah. The whole thing, the music, everything is somewhat seductive, and it's like it's a playful thing. It doesn't mean you have to go the whole way. I can dance with like a 60-year-old woman, and I can semi-seduce her a little bit in the dance. Not too much, obviously, but just a little bit, right? It's this playful, literal dance between the male and female energy. So, yeah, true seducers are actually a rare thing, and you know it when you see it. You know it instantly when you see it, and I think we need more of it in society. Men need to learn more and more seduction. Learn your seductive dance moves. Bring out your seductive conversation. Bring out your seductive eye contact. Bring out your seductive engagement with the girl. It's a lot about mentality, about being just supremely confident, and there's also an element of finesse as well to it. Being polarizing, being man to woman, as opposed to just being, just being very friendly conversation. The alpha side of things doesn't really come into it as such. It's more, the seducer. It's not necessarily the same figure. It can be, but it's kind of like it's not really necessarily the same thing. There's an element of provocation that comes with being a seducer. You provoke the girl. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I was thinking back over my time because I'm 39 now, right? So like these guys that I'm with, even Balthus, he's still 8 years younger than me. That's actually a massive difference. Like the difference between, you know, 16 and 24, that's a massive difference. So I was thinking about myself at the same age. It's like, yeah, my actual approach with everything has definitely evolved very substantially, very, very substantially in the last 8 years. And I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't even know if it's progressed in a sense. It's more actual, I do a lot more vetting now than I used to. I used to just really want to seduce and just go in and provoke. And some girls just, it just didn't work. And then other girls, they really like it. I would even actually, with some girls, I'd almost pick fights with them. This was one of my things that I would do, especially if I couldn't get, if there's a girl I really liked and I couldn't crack her open, I would almost pick a fight with her, like some dramatic bullshit, which it kind of works, to be honest. I remember one girl who I would see, she was in my dance class, and she was a virgin. She was like 19, 20, religious virgin, typical fucking thing that I like. And I could not crack this girl in any way, shape, or form. And I was trying for like a couple months. Not like too much, but just when I'd see her in the class. And then I remember like one night out or something, I just started having almost arguments with her. And that became my thing with this girl. And it almost worked. It almost worked. She said when I left, because I left to do an overseas contract, she messaged me, she's like, I really miss arguing with you. So like, it's just, that was a very extreme example, but you know, different types of, you know, like just being on the front foot all the time. That was kind of how I was between, let's say, 27 and about 34. I was basically constantly on the front foot. Then I started to, you know, I had a few episodes where I ran into, through my own doing, not only my own doings, but somewhat of my own doing. I ran into like girls with like issues, like major issues, and it just kind of made me go, you know what? I need to start thinking about what defensive walls I'm putting up around the people I let into my life. Even like beyond anything beyond one date, basically. So I'm much more defensive now than I used to be. Way more defensive. I don't really need more experiences. I've had some good experiences. Now it's more about who I let in, who I actually let in. Um, Yeah, if you go up to a woman, you introduce yourself, she immediately tells you to leave her alone. Yeah, obviously, I'm not teaching. Okay, Susan. To be honest, love, this channel is not really for you, but you know, the stuff I'm preaching here is, yeah, it's pretty much in line with that. It's quite rare actually. A girl is going to tell you to leave her alone. That's actually quite rare. Most of the time, they'll just politely kind of like, once you pay them a compliment, they'll just kind of, you'll know they're not interested. They don't even need to say I'm not interested. They might say I've got a boyfriend. Ideally, though, what we want to do is, ideally, what you want to do is have it so you have your intentions pretty clear at the start. So if she's interested in engaging with you, she knows why she's there, and if she's not, that's absolutely fine. She can just move on. So that's why. Well, it's not what I preach; it's what I do, and it's what I teach guys to do as well. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's the. But it's quite rare they will actually tell you to like piss off. That's pretty. If they do that, you've definitely done something wrong. Definitely done something wrong. So if you're a guy and you're getting responses like that, you need to get a coach basically. You need to come and see the wing bro, or you need to go and see one of my friends. Um, yeah, authenticity as well. Authenticity as well. Okay, Susan. Thanks, love. I'm gonna get you off my channel, mate. Sorry, love. This is a men's channel. Sorry. But anyway, you know how women think. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But this is. I'm not here to help women. To be honest, they can help themselves. There's lots of channels that they can get help from. I'm really here to help the guys. Appreciate your contribution there, Susan. I always end up kicking girls off. To be honest, this is just it isn't the place for them. Responsibility to become seducers. Yeah, it's a responsibility to become seducers and leaders. Um, You're in Skopje. Oh, let me address this question before I go on to my next point. Adnan, I'm in Skopje. Is it hard to meet women there? No, I was in Skopje. I was in Skopje in January and February. I love Skopje. It's one of my favorite cities. I love it. Great place to just have a peaceful life and to work. You can definitely approach in the mall. You can approach in the streets. I would probably recommend getting a wing. I mean, I was doing it solo. I would say I'm pretty advanced, and I was getting good results. I was getting numbers, getting good conversations. It's not the most amenable though. It's not the most amenable. If you're a beginner, to be honest, mate, you're probably gonna have some trouble. I was out there as a beginner, and that's when I decided to get coaching. I literally messaged Christian Casanova from Skopje. I was like, bro, get me on a call. I need some assistance here, right? So yeah, Skopje is not too easy, mate. To be honest, Adnan. So it can be done though. I mean, I was getting numbers and stuff out there when I was there in January, February. A lot of my days now are like essentially training exercises, I would say, for cold approach. But I was genuinely motivated then. I was interested. I thought the girls were pretty hot. Some nice Albanian girls there as well, but the local girls are hot as well. So yeah, I would to do well in Skopje, I'd say the format I would go with is go out with a wing, hammer the streets until such time as and also hammer that mall. You know the one I mean, the main. There's actually some really good malls in Skopje. Hammer those, get your results, get your numbers. But then once you get the girl, I would. That's not the place to play the field and try and rack up bodies. That's the place. Probably it's the place to get a girlfriend. It's a city of like 500,000 or something. So if you're gonna start to, and it's the places where you can approach, there's not that many. So if you're gonna try and, it's not the place to go and try and have like sexcapades every night. It's not realistic in my opinion. But it is definitely a place you could get a really hot, really good girlfriend. So, a bit like Belgrade. To be honest, my mentality was just like I'm just gonna come in, hit it, essentially until I meet a couple of girls who I think this could be a girlfriend, and that's kind of what I've done. So yeah, so Adnan, yeah, hopefully that's useful to you, mate. But yeah, if you need training, mate, if you can get yourself over to Belgrade, come down. I'm here for a while. I'm here till the 29th of August, and I've got people coming in and out of the city to train. So yeah, next point. This is where this live is about to kick off. This is where it's going to get good. Yeah, just been routine stuff until now. It is our responsibility to seduce. It's our responsibility to seduce. It is our civic responsibility to seduce. Not only our personal responsibility, not only our genetic responsibility, it is our civilizational responsibility to seduce. Okay, so why is it your personal responsibility? Well, it's on you, bruv. No one cares about your personal life other than you. Yeah, and maybe a coach if you have a coach. But apart from that, no one cares. So it's going to be on you to sort it out. In terms of your genetic responsibility, bruv, yeah, you got to seduce. You got to be the guy who moves things forward. You got to get the best girl you can, and you got to eventually, yeah, pop those babies out at some point, right? You are the product of a 300,000 year lineage. You watching this, whoever you are, even the lady I just kicked off, you're a product of a 300,000 year lineage. Let me just repeat that again. You are the product of a 300,000 year lineage. In order for you to be sat watching this live now, that had to happen. Millennia, hundreds of millennia, right, of people surviving through bitter, horrific conditions, right? Tribal warfare, right? Migrating from different continents, like harsh climates, right? The Europeans coming up into Northern Europe, handling fucking woolly mammoths, right? In fucking Africa, they were like on the plains of savannah, right? Asia, the bloody Asian tigers, right? Yeah, there was a lot our ancestors had to overcome working together. And they had to survive generation after generation after generation. By definition, if you exist, you're the product of that line. Yeah? So we, in the modern world where everything's all easy, we have a literal obligation to our lineage to seduce, to continue life, so that life continues forward. After we are gone, our sons and daughters, and their sons and daughters, and life goes on. But this can only happen if men and women, yeah, you actually have to bang for life to go on. Yeah, the big bang, right, generates all life. So this is a responsibility. Yeah, 90% of, like, we should be doing this, right? 90% of people should be doing this, right? Maybe a few people we can let them off. Tesla will let him off. Yeah, but Picasso can have all these children. If Elon Musk can have them, we probably can as well. So yeah, it's a civilizational, it's a genetic duty, and it's even civilizational as well. This is where this is where the depth comes in, right? The current issues in Europe, what is driving all the issues? Everyone knows what the big issue is. What's driving it? It's the birth rate, my friends. The birth rate is 1.2. 1.2. Yeah, Jidan 2. It's not enough. Yeah, so we need more seducers. We need more inseminators. I've said this to the boys. Government should be paying us. Yeah, they should be paying us to help men seduce. Women aren't going to seduce themselves. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're way too passive. It's not going to happen. And even if they do, they're all going to just go for one guy, aren't they? Yeah, we know how it works. It needs to be on us, right? The active hunter, the seducer. We need to train men back into this instinct. Otherwise, what's going to happen? End of civilization. Yeah, over. Game over. Well, that was nice, wasn't it? Japan, China, they're all going down the pan. They're being called low desire societies. So CCP, Chinese government, yeah. Wingbro is available from September. No, October. I need to go to the Caribbean first. October, I'm available. You want to up your rates? Yeah. I know how to make that happen. Yeah. We can be getting these babies popping out a lot. Yeah. What people do with them after that is their business, right? That's for the CCP to decide. But it's actually going to be a civilization. It's going to be, believe me on this one, in 5-10 years time, whether or not you have children is literally going to be it's going to be a civilizational / political statement. It's fucked up to say that, but that's the phase we've got to. That's how it's actually going to be. Yeah. Do you want life to continue? Yeah. Some point we've all got to do it. Yeah. We've all got to do it. Yeah. So, yeah, get rich, get babies. At some point we've all got to do it, basically. Yeah. And I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, what happens after that? So someone like me who's got quite a rogue lifestyle, what do we do then? You know, I can't continue this lifestyle. But I was thinking about it. I was like, well, there are other missions. There are other missions that we need to achieve. And so, yeah. And we build our own civilization, and this is where it's getting even more exciting. Yeah, this is definitely not a business pitch here, but yes, we get enough people thinking in this way, right? We want to actually respawn. We want to dominate. We want to take over. Yeah. I train enough people. I've calculated how many people I need to train. I train enough people. I can buy a private island just off the coast of Panama. Yeah, they're actually somewhat affordable. Do this with a few friends, and we will found a new civilization, and it will be called Brothenia, and it will adhere to the structures and customs of the Greek city-state. Yeah, and we will raise our spawn. We will raise our children into the future. Yeah, we will raise the next generation into these cold approaching. It will be a cold approaching warrior class that we will raise, right? And we're going to get Elon Musk's robots to do all of our dirty work, because I don't want them doing dirty work, bullshit work. So we're going to have robots doing all the bullshit, and we can just focus on the life of leisure, the life of conquest in Brothenia. Yeah, and then when we get old, we're like 70 years old, we've prepared our youth, our spawn, our scion, you know, Josefsky 3.0. Yeah, they come back and they will be called the Bratvarti. The Bratvarti. They will come back into Europe and retake Europe. Yeah, they're going to retake Constantinople. Watch, the Bratvarti will retake Constantinople. That's the plan. They will unite with the former Yugoslavian nations and they will retake Constantinople. Yeah. Anyway, that's my vision, right? That's my vision. But let's just get back down to earth for a moment. Yeah, what is but it's an interesting point, that, isn't it? That, like, the fact that guys are so clueless about how to seduce and actually can't even approach. It's not just a self-confidence thing. That this actually spans out. I really do, like, because the population decline is such a central civilizational issue. Well, what's the one thing you need to do to get the population up? You need to shag. So ironically, like, people who at the moment, like us, are like almost deviants, people doing coaching on this stuff, we're actually going to become, in my opinion, we're actually going to become people who can help this cause. Yeah, there's other things obviously as well that need to be taken care of, obviously, but fundamentally, the women need to feel the desire, especially like nowadays, because, which is not hard to trigger, by the way. It's not hard at all, because the old world of, everyone just had to get married just because, that's no longer there. So you actually have to be a seducer. You actually have to be. It's important. It's more important basically than anything you learn in school. Let's just be fucking real about it. It's like, if you can't do this, what's the point in anything else, really? There's no point, is there? You're a PhD scientist, etc., but you can't do the most basic thing. You're a millionaire. Again, you can't do the most basic thing. It's fucking stupid, right? And yeah, I made a video the other week. It's a completely true story about a guy who's a multi-millionaire, and he stands to lose just an ungodly amount of money because he mismanaged his personal life. It's fucking terrible, man. It's terrible. So we've got to sort this stuff out, boys. So there we go. That was, yeah. I had noted down here, Brothenia and Bratvarti, Constantinople. That was in my notes there. But yeah, let's just get back to reality a little bit and just think about, what is a good result. Garbage, Ian. No, it wasn't created to win a woman. That's just garbage, mate. No, it wasn't. The women didn't need to be won, brother. They didn't need to be won. Stop thinking about how you need to win women. You just take them. You don't need to win them. Sorry. A bit harsh, but maybe to show off, the phallic skyscrapers and stuff, but no, they weren't built to win women. That's a kind of knightly thing. Look at Athens, mate. The women were just like, they were just kind of like the noble women just swanned around, but they didn't really have to impress them that much. I think, yeah, it's a balance. You've got to show off a little bit, but anyway. Yeah, so what's a good result? What's a good result in this? Yeah, what's a good result in this? What is a good result in daytime approach and dating? The only good result is, the only good result is the result that you want at this particular stage in your life. That's the only good result. So if you're 21 and you want to be a player and you can only get a girlfriend, it's not a good result, is it? Yeah. If you're 45 and you find it relatively straightforward to get laid, but you can't get the wifey, then it's not a good result. So it's about the result that you want. Sinalepa, beautiful woman, yeah? Ultimately, that's what it's about. It's a fairly simple result, in my opinion. And the more that time goes on, the more I think the real result is like premium level woman for my scion. That's pretty much it. All the rest of it is just going to be, it's all just going to go away in the leaves in the end of the day. You do need some experience to be able to assess for that, though. That's another thing. If you don't know what's out there, if you've never left your hometown, then it's pretty difficult to really make that assessment, in my opinion. But yeah, what is like, your premium scion? That ultimately, I think for most guys, that's going to be the case. What else is even like? What else is even a valid fucking goal? I don't know. Like to be around. I can't imagine being around a woman for your whole life, and it's just a completely barren relationship. You never have any children. I just don't see the point. What's the point? You may as well go off and rove the mountains, live in a shack, travel the world. That's what I think. And unless you, doesn't mean you have to do it straight away. It doesn't mean you don't have a great relationship with a woman, but surely that's the end goal. I don't see guys who get married. I remember like going to a friend's wedding, watching them get married, and the girl's like saying she didn't want to have children, and I was thinking, why the fuck would you marry her? If she doesn't want, what's the point? What is the point getting married so a girl can hold your hand? Like, really? I don't know. Guys who need a woman to I don't know, achieve or something, or like a mother figure or something. I don't fucking know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. The ultimate goal, I think, it should be a productive, like literally physically productive relationship. Eventually. And if not, just keep rolling on. Keep rolling on. Yeah, I wouldn't settle with a woman just be like, okay, we'll just love each other for the next 40 years. Be like, okay, right, we need to sort this out. So in a few years, 5 years, whatever it is, we can start making some bravati. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think this is just the way it goes in the end. I think we all will eventually converge on this point. Whatever you're doing at the moment, I'm interested to see some of the older guys like in Entourage. I mean, I know one of the guys, Sean, he went off and he's nearly 50, and I guarantee that guy's going to be having children in the next couple of years. I guarantee it. And I do wonder if some of the older guys, I wonder if they may change their minds as well as they get, into things with younger women and think, you know what, fuck it, yeah, I need to found the bravati. And think about why you even like sex. This is another point I just wrote down. Why do we even like sex? Why do we even like women? Think about that. Why do we even like them? Yeah. Why? We don't think about that, do we? Why do you like sex? Sex is a biological sweetener for reproduction. It's an incentive for us to reproduce. We're sexually dimorphic. You go to Skopje. I don't know if Skopje would be the place to find your wife, to be fair. I think it's pretty tough territory to find your wife. They're good wife material though, but yeah. Yeah, the approach basically, I kind of agree with that. Approach, okay, you can do cold approach, you can do dance floor seduction, you can do it through apps as well. I think it makes you maybe a bit brittle, to be honest with you, but you can do it through that as well. Yeah, because just because guys can cold approach, I'm sorry, this idea that cold approach is like some kind of, we're like different species or something. It's not entirely true, because you can cold approach and you can still have trouble in relationships, if not be completely incompetent in them. So like there is stuff on the back end as well, and that's more important actually. But if you can't do the approaches to begin with, you can't learn the stuff on the back end. So it's all the relationships that you have in your 20s and 30, like early 30s. That's really just to set you up, in my opinion, for when the rest of your life, you're actually able to manage it quite effectively and able to negotiate it effectively. Yeah, because the relationship on the back end, that's what actually counts. It's probably, I'm at a phase now where I probably could meet, I don't go on apps, but I probably could meet a girl on an app. And I don't think I would have such a doubt in my mind, which I've had in a previous relationship, is could I have actually seduced this girl? There's only one girl I've been with from an app for a long term. And I thought, could I have actually seduced her? And it bugged me. I think now with cold approach, I probably kind of slayed that dragon in the sense of maybe I could, maybe I couldn't, but that particular girl, but it's kind of okay. But realizing, yeah, that the back end is also like is kind of the most important thing. But yeah, why do you actually want sex? Why do you actually want women? Why do you get endorphins when you see the woman's tits? It's all fertility and it's all reproduction. I hate to break it to us boys. But let's think about this. Yeah? We don't think about this, do we? It's like, why do you like sugar? Because it's high calorie, you know? Ultimately, why we like sex is because it leads to the furthering of the species. That's why we like it. That's why it's good. So, I mean, this is just something to consider. This is food for thought, right? I'm just wanting everyone to have lots of children so that I can have them for my private army, my private merc army off the coast of Panama and Brothenia. So yeah, daddy vibes as well. As I'm a bald old man with a beard, and what I'm finding really interesting is that it's so consistent as well. Is the girls who like me the most by far are younger girls, by far. So that's an interesting thing. I'm like the young daddy. I don't know. I almost feel like young girls can be a bit frustrated with young guys because the guys don't really have their shit together in any way, shape, or form. They're not really confident. They're kind of dumb. And so, like, they'll take young guys and they're in the vicinity, and of course, there's some good young ones. But then, I almost feel like they're sort of, a lot of them, they're kind of like, in a way, they're kind of just pure feminine energy, like untrammeled by, they probably haven't got like a 10-year career or anything like that, dragged down the corporate depression. You know, they've not had XYZ happen to them. They're kind of fresh. They're kind of pure, energetically. And they just love that, like, male energy coming towards them. They fucking love it. It's a constant, I find. It's a constant where, yeah, I do better with girls, at the younger end of the spectrum, under 25, than I do. It's not that I do badly with the older ones, but it's just like, it's almost weird. It's almost weird, but it's very consistent. Maybe it's my red Puma tracksuit. I think that's the thing that does it. I remind them of their PE teacher or something. So yeah, so I just put their daddy vibes. Yeah, lean into it. When you get old, just start going down the daddy route. I'm going to send some dirty messages after this live. Daddy messages. And then yeah, leadership. That's coming through relationships. I just don't think men are being taught how to fucking lead. Jesus Christ. There's so much work to do. You gotta lead the girl, man. If she's your girl and you want her, you gotta lead her. Don't think about all this compromise bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's not real, I'm telling you. It's just not real. And if you let the girl lead it, watch where that will go. They cannot lead. They cannot lead. Pathologically cannot lead. Don't allow it to happen. You're better off single. They know it themselves. They know it themselves. I have high-powered women telling me this exact stuff. The most high-powered women you can almost imagine, and they tell me this stuff, right? So, yeah, leadership is very important, but it's got to be the male style of leadership. I think is the correct way, which is like direction, guidance, motivation. It's things like this. It's not being you're not a leader if you're just brutally beating your woman and like beating her down and stuff like that. That's not leadership at all. Like this domineering bullshit. That's not it at all. That's not leadership. That's just been a moron. John Scully, the legend of Manchester has appeared. How are you, mate? You're coming to Belgrade. That has literally made my day, mate. That has made my day. Bruv, just send me your dates. Send me your dates. Let me know what's going on. Yeah. I should have, there should be another lad in from England around. I've got a guy coming on the 15th for an immersion, for a 3-dayer. Mate, it would be awesome. It'd be awesome to see you out here, mate. It'd be awesome to see you out here. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of your videos, mate. They crack me up, dude. Your videos crack me up. They kill me, mate. They absolutely kill me. Yeah, well, just drop me a message about that. Yeah, you'll be more than welcome here. I'm here to the 29th. You'll love it, mate. You'll absolutely love it. It's a beautiful city. You've got great streets, really nice girls. Great place to practice your approach. Really inspiring place. A lot going on. A lot going on. Really well dressed girls. Yeah, it's yeah, what a place, man. What a place. I'd say it's I'll be interested to see how you do out here as well, actually, if you do decide to come and do some approach as well. Um, we found it's a little bit more advanced in the UK, I would say, but I think you could handle it, mate. I saw your work, so yeah, brilliant. Keep me posted. I fucking love to see you out here, mate. Um, yeah, that's a surprise. Did not expect to see you in here, mate. But yeah, good to see you. So yeah, leadership is what I mentioned there. Providing leadership in relationships. Just trust me on this. And here's the thing, right? If the girl is not good enough for you want to invest to be a leader for her, then she's not your girl. If she's not good enough for you to want to step into that role to some extent, she's not your girl, mate. She's not your girl. Or you're not in the right time in life. Yeah. So that's actually a good metric because it's effort to put into that role. Yeah. So if she's not it, then she's not it. She move on. Yeah. So I'll just actually from that move on comment, let me just expand on that because this is something we've been talking about with the guys. Is like again all this fake alpha red pill bullshit about how like you just need to have 10 girlfriends or you need to just or every girl that you meet is just they're all just trying to fuck every other guy in the world as soon as you turn your back and all this garbage. There's such a total lack of humanity on the internet when it comes to talking about relationships between men and women, which is completely insane. Like I can really barely think of any content producers who provide optimism and provide realism as well. Women have like they release what's it called that? It's not endorphins, the chemical bonding hormone. There's a hormone that's released in women after sex. Oxytocin. There we go. Cheers, mate. Oxytocin. They release it at 5 times the rate that men do. So if you start rattling them on a weekly basis, they are going to fall in love, yeah? It's basically biologically programmed. Why wouldn't it be? Because before contraception existed, that probably meant if that was happening, she's going to have your spawn fairly soon. So she needs to bond to somebody, probably you, right? So yeah, so they release it. Yeah, women fall a lot harder than men do in love. Has no one fucking noticed this? Like, I'll come back to you, Junk, on that one. I'll come back to you on that one. Has nobody noticed this? Has nobody noticed that most of the time women are falling harder? Yeah. One of the things that a lot of women are afraid of to get into stuff with guys, one of the main things they're afraid of is falling for a guy. This is the main reason they don't just sleep around like and have casual things. Is they're afraid of falling for a guy and then they're screwed because the guy is not interested in them and just uses them for sex. Yeah, and they fall in love with him. Obviously, this happens all the time, right? But this is a big fear of theirs, right? Yeah, dude, women fall for guys. Like if you're a guy who's kind of leading the way and you're dynamic and you give her some decent stuff in the bedroom, give her a bit of a not in a porno way. Do you know what I mean? But it just like you have to at least somewhat know what you're doing. Yeah, go and read 50 Shades of Grey, right? That's your new textbook. Women fall hard, man, for guys. Yeah, women fall hard for guys. They fall for guys who, average guys, guys who are obviously unsuitable for them. A lot of the time, all it is. It's literally just once you've crossed the Rubicon of sex several times with them, and it's gone well enough, and they can see you're a guy who's got his own mind. A lot of the time, that's it. It's a wrap for them. They're just going to invest in you. So this idea that, like, I don't know, it's come from, and maybe it's true. Maybe in, like, let's say Ephraim's talked about it, is West Coast LA culture, maybe as a cultural extreme. So I don't know about that, where people are much more like transactional almost with sex. Yeah, maybe. But that is not the most of the world, man. It's not most of the world at all. Even in permissive places, I think there's girls who don't fucking cry themselves to sleep over guys every fucking night. So, yeah, and then you think there's girls who don't have great relationships with guys. Guys and girls getting together, having good times. It's all there, man. It's all there. So, yeah, I just think there needs to be more optimism, more humanity in this. And we were talking about how, like, girls we've been in love with, it's like, you could get with other girls afterwards. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference at all. You're still in love with the previous girl, sometimes from years ago. Yeah, it just is what it is. So, like, I don't know, this idea of you need to have this harem and fuck, this is why you need to vet on the front end. But you shouldn't, unless you're a moron, you shouldn't fall for the rock like a girl who's got a lot of bad characteristics. That's just stupid. Maybe that can happen once or twice, but, like, yeah, there should be very obvious things you're vetting for. The main thing, actually, one of the main things you need to do once you get active is really aggressively think about what can I accept and what can I not accept, and stick to it. Stick to it regardless. So for me personally, I don't really, as long as the girl's hot enough, the other things are this checklist of things are more important, because I can't deal with someone who's giving me any type of issue at all that I don't want to have in my life just because she's attractive. It doesn't make any sense, because there's attractive girls who are going to give you no issues at all. So yeah, so that was the leadership thing, leading and relationships. This is a slightly longer live this evening because I've not been on for a while. So John, let me get back to your question. Do women in Belgrade have a type in race? Yeah, good question. I would say my friend Ephraim out here, he is half black, half, I want to say Samoan or something like that. I probably messed that up. Indonesian, I think. No, half black, half Indonesian. So he's basically mixed race, and he's doing extremely well out here, extremely well. So yeah, you can definitely pull. I've seen a few black guys pull in, like, yeah, with Slavic girlfriends here. I went to Kazumba night where there was some girls who they obviously came to me, like one of the DJs or like the dance teachers who are African guys. So there's those girls out there. I would definitely say though there will be some girls who they will only date. There'll be some girls who will only date even a Serbian guy. Never even a guy like me. Even though I maybe even could even look a bit Serbian, it's not. They've got to be an actual Serbian local guy. And then there definitely will be girls who would only date a white guy, as well. So that will be there will be girls like that, obviously, but there's girls who are open to. Well, I've not seen a Chinese guy out here hammering the streets, but I'm sure there will be girls in Belgrade who would go out with a Chinese guy, same with an Indian guy, whatever. So it just depends on the girl. Yeah, one thing we had a bit of if you're an outsider, you do have to be a little bit careful in general in some places. So yeah, we had a bit of an episode last night, to put it mildly. Um, yeah. So I think volume, like with sessions, we've been doing quite crazy volume, and we've been doing it all in one place. So we've decided just to give ourselves a bit more, go to different parts of the city, not completely concentrate our efforts in one place because we're starting to get a bit of a rep basically. Um, uh, yeah. Um, and the other thing as well, they actually do have an Afro night here as well. I'm not saying that John Scully is a faceless YouTuber. His picture does looks like he has dreadlocks. I'm not saying he is black. He might be, or it might be a Chinese guy pretending to be black. But if he were black, he might want to know that they also have, and he did like Afrobeats. They also have a Afrobeat night here in Belgrade as well. And obviously the girls who go into that, they're interested in those guys, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's it's. I've been down to it once or twice. It's quite good. It's quite a good little vibe. It was like Serbians, Africans. It's interesting. Um, yeah. So next up here, I've got noted down. This is a medley show today. What I'm starting to realize, the more guys I speak to, the more training I do with guys, a lot of the problems that guys are having, the cold approach and the issues with women, cold approach brings to the surface pre-existing issues. And actually a lot of guys, there's quite a bracket of guys who don't really have any pre-existing issues. They're pretty good, you know, and you should not you should not invent issues for yourself if you don't have them. But for some guys, there's pre-existing issues of their mindset, there's pre-existing issues of their confidence, pre-existing issues of permission-seeking behavior, permission-seeking, maybe pre-existing issues of perhaps even feeling that they don't have the right to go after what they want, maybe from issues from childhood and things like this. Um, they put their perception of other people's desires above themselves. That's extremely common. As something I think a lot of guys have, that can be normal. Yeah, SB. Yeah, I'll have to give you a bit of an update on that. But um, yes, in a word, yes, they did. Uh, yeah, I won't go into it online, but yeah, the issues guys have. Actually, SB, you joined at the perfect time, mate. The issues guys have. I'm going to use you as a case study. Sorry, mate. I'm just going to use you as a case study. So SB is a guy who's just been getting into approach recently, and I think there was a parallel. SB is an incredible artist, right? So I'm giving you praise here, mate. He's a really good artist, like really, really fucking good in my opinion. I really like his art. It's exactly the type of thing I'd love to have hanging on my wall. Very cool, modern, interesting, innovative, stylish. I like the mixture of the very dark. You often use like very bright, vibrant colors, and then some weird black shape in there as well. Um, so basically, you're a really solid artist, mate. And I feel that you've been reluctant to show that side of yourself and to be pushing your art out into the world. Something's holding you back there. And it's been the same in cold approach. It's like you haven't been wanting to push yourself out there into the girls as much as it's like you got so much to offer, and yet you're holding it back within the art and then within the approach. And obviously the approach got a breakthrough, obviously, so that's great. And it's going to happen with the art as well. It's going to happen with the art as well. And that's and what you see, I just use you as an example there, but you see it with practically everyone, is the issue that they have in approach is the same issue that they have in life. And it's just that the approach brings it right to the surface and magnifies it straight away. So that's yeah, it's almost something you almost think every guy probably would benefit from doing some cold approach, because it would be like you go and do 20 approaches, it might just raise a couple of things where you go, wow, I didn't even know that I had that. That happened to me. I was like, I didn't even know I had that little tweaky little issue there. Huh, interesting. I wasn't aware of this, but the approach brought it to the surface. Um, so for me, yeah, one of them I think was, I mean, it's partly cultural, isn't it? But like, I still felt there was an invisible wall, like a permission-seeking wall. I didn't feel like I had permission to do it in the day. I felt like I had permission at night because it's socially approved, but in the day, and maybe there was, I think that's probably a cultural thing more than anything else. Um, Fear of humiliation, I suppose. I don't know. Well, I think all the normal stuff, a lot of the normal stuff that guys need to get over, that they get like culturally indoctrinated into. Um, yeah, and there's even one guy, he might be watching me. I remember he said to me like he didn't feel he was desirable because he'd never had girls approach him. I remember thinking like, wow, that's a crazy thought to hold you back, because practically no guys have girls approach them. That's fucking practically never happens, dude. Practically never. Um, there is a certain bracket of guys who get approached by girls in certain contexts. A very good looking guy who works behind a bar, or a very good looking guy maybe in a club, maybe they get approached by a girl trying to get their attention. Maybe. Sometimes I've, because of like the dance stuff, sometimes if I'm out on the dance floor, I will, I mean, pretty much most times I will get girls, salsa and stuff, they'll come up to me, but that's mostly because they can see I'm a good dancer, so they like that. But I don't really count that as the same thing, to be honest with you. In some cases there is attraction, but I'm really talking here about like, yeah, that 1 in 100 guys who, like, I remember going out with a mate, and girls occasionally would say like, "Wait, introduce me to your mate," and it was just literally based on his looks. That was it. It was just based on his looks. Just looks really good. But that's so fucking rare. Does that guy have the perfect dating life? No. Did he even do particularly? Was he a seducer? No, not at all. He just basically got lucky genetically, and that's it. You know. And so those guys, they can have their own problems as well. But yeah, I just remember that one student saying that, and I thought, wow, practically no guys get approached, and he'd taken that as like a reason to, feel lesser in his approaches. There's so many different things that people have told me. You just realize these things, you know, feelings of XYZ, they transpose into the approach. Yeah, so that raises the issues. Now, on the other hand, all of your this is where we should take a lot of confidence, is all of our positive shit as well. That comes into our approach as well. That makes us irresistible as well. All of our vibes, all of our energy, all of our masculinity, all of our intelligence, all of our wits, all of our confidence, all of our energy. That comes into the approach as well. So all the good stuff that also gets us the results, and also it just plays a massive factor. That's overwhelmingly what's going to do. It's going to make the results. It's going to make the approaches go well. So yeah, both the problems can come up, but then also so can the positives can come up as well. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'll put this here: they're just chicks. They're just women at the end of the day. Let's not go too crazy about it, right? They're just women. You're just going over and talking to them. Yeah, we use this as we set like almost a crazy pace at it, like myself, like yeah, myself and Balthus, I'd say the first couple of weeks, and then as Ephraim's come in, like the pace these guys are setting with their approach is absolutely ferocious. Um, that's probably one of the things I think most people notice if they come out with me. It's like, oh, this guy puts a pace on it. All right, okay, fair enough. I didn't quite expect that, you know. So when you're putting a pace on it, it is a kind of almost a sport. It's a different thing, right? But fundamentally, for students who are just wanting to get a great personal life, get a great girlfriend, get a great wifey life, uh, all you need to do is just talking to girls. It's absolutely fine. It's completely normal. You don't need to do like crazy stuff that we try and do, like and speak to groups of girls. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Just go completely normal. Just talk to the girls, and they're only girls at the end of the day. They're not going to do anything to you. They're not going to hurt you. If it will be anyone who do anything crazy, it's going to be the guys. Yeah, it's always been the case. We had a little incident, didn't we, yesterday? But that kind of shit's happened to Balthus had not even an incident, just the guy shoved him in a club the other day because he was approaching a girl. That type of stuff, honestly, has happened to me. I literally couldn't even count how many times it's happened to me. I could not even count. It's happened to me less in cold approach than any other arena. It still happened to me in cold approach a couple of times, but in clubs it would happen to me practically every fucking week. Because it's like, unless you're actually, yeah, if you actually want to go and approach in clubs, you're going to be approaching girls who are in groups. It's chaotic. There's guys around. There's alcohol. It was just on a constant basis that every 3 weeks, and I'd have it from every imaginable. So I was going out like more than 10 years. I was a club promoter for 4 years. Had it from every imaginable type of person you can imagine. Yeah. Greek guys, I remember shoving me because I was going for some Greek girl in their group, whatever, and I'm like, okay, fuck you guys, whatever. Muslim guys, same. Black guys, same. White guys, same. It's always the guys. It's always the guys that will have a go. Yeah, it's not to say it's not to say anything really bad happened, but it would just mostly guys shoving me. To be honest with you, if I was talking to a girl, and I would always analyze in advance, like, yeah, she's definitely single, and she always was, in fact. And this is actually something that's very frustrating about nightlife is the number of times there's a little mixed group and there's some absolute pussy in this group. He's got his eye on some girl. In his mind, that's his girl, and it's like, you're not made a move on her. I've literally introduced myself to her. She likes me, and then he comes over and he's having a go at me, or he's trying to maneuver physically into the space. As time went on, I started to learn how to negotiate that, but it's irritating, right? And it's always this idiot guy who's like, bro, you're not. If you've been out with her for 3 hours, nothing's happening, is it, mate? If I've been here for 2 minutes and she's already holding my hand, you idiot. So, anyway, or alternatively, she's not interested. You know, they're not always interested. Obviously, it's just whatever happens, happens. But yeah, it's always the guys that will do something idiotic. The women are always like, they're never really going to do anything. They're only girls. They really love compliments. They need compliments. It's positive male-female interaction. You know, the whole thing. I think we just need to make it a lot more normal. It's just normal behavior. It's not some. One guy got asked if this was a cult. He was, I think it was Balthus got asked, "Is this some kind of a cult you guys are in?" It's like, no, this is just normal behavior. Maybe not to the extent we've been doing it. Maybe it's not, but it's basically normal behavior. What else do I have? Yeah, I think I've covered most of these things. Anymore? Yeah, what do we have? I mean, yeah, just to finish off the live, I mean, you know, guys have got whatever desires they've got, and towards the feminine. And there's a lot of like maturity that comes through cold approach where you're speaking to a lot of girls and you're getting numbers and you're meeting a lot of women on a regular basis, and you actually realize most of these women are not suitable for me. And that's a very good maturing process, in my opinion. That really helps you just to mature. 'Cause I remember when I was younger, I'd have a girlfriend, and she was like a really nice girlfriend. It's like my ideal girlfriend almost. And I would still look around at the girls in the clubs and the streets, and I think, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to be with her. I wonder what it'd be like to be with that girl, this girl. See them in the streets. You know what it's like. It's the stone you want to turn over, the endless curiosity of the male brain. And one of the things with cold approach is, once you realize you really can open, not necessarily any woman any time, because that's also a fantasy, but you can go out into the streets, you can talk to a hell of a lot of women, and you can get numbers and dates, whatever. You really do realize most of these girls are not suitable for you at all. So it kind of makes me look back on those prior relationships and go, you know what? I'm glad that I did that. It wasn't a waste of time. All the girls I thought I could have been getting, I wouldn't have even liked anyway. If I could have even got them, I wouldn't have even liked them anyway. And newsflash, half of them, like more than half of them, 80% would have not wanted to get with me anyway. There would have been some who did, obviously. But yeah, it's so it's a kind of maturity process going through cold approach. It just kind of disarms women in a sense. It's weird. Like, yeah, most of the approaches I do, I can sense really quickly. No, we're not a match, and that's fine. It's fine. I think actually girls know it more than we do. I think they're very attuned to selection. We can be blinded by our own sexual desire, but I think they're quite attuned to selection. Um, and yeah, in a way, cold approach is kind of a new thing we're bringing back. We're kind of renormalizing it. It's kind of the old way. It's the natural way. It's the correct way. It matures you. It's it's a romantic story that you're always going to tell going forward. Girls that I've been with through approach, it really is something great to look back on. You will look back on that moment if you end up dating the girl for a long time. You look back on that moment many times. You know, it's a great story. If you have children, you get to say to your sons get to ask you, and you get to say, yeah, this is what daddy did. It's pretty cool. So I just think it's a great way of life, basically. It's a great way of life, and this is why we're teaching it. This is why I put so much time into really developing it, really on getting a true understanding of the approach itself, and then combining that with my previous understanding that I already had of all the back end stuff. So I'm able to actually, as time goes on, I've got other things in the pipeline, offer people real guidance every step of the way from the approach, essentially all the way down the aisle, and all the way into into the hospital to have your children born. This is the idea, yeah, the whole solution all the way through. Um, what else have I got here? And I think guys, most guys actually, they they do want this. Deep down, they do want this. They don't want to be out on fucking apps. They don't want to be in clubs forever. They don't want to be reliant on all of these external things, alcohol, algorithms. They actually just want to be able to be reliant on themselves. Yeah? Go out with your mates, go and approach, have a fun time in the streets. And over a period, it might be a week, it might be. My goal with coming into Belgrade was to find a girl within a week. I'm realistic as well. Talked about the pyramid. Yeah. So what if I have to do 50 approaches to find that girl? If it's 100, I don't care. Who cares? I'm gonna have fun along the way. And when that girl comes along, you're gonna know it. So my goal was to find someone in the first week. I found someone on the third day. There we go. My summer is pretty much. I knew my summer was gonna be interesting after that, and I've actually probably even found one or two others as well. But that's the main one I'm interested in. And all the other numbers you take, you just don't even message them. There's no point at my age anyway. And yeah, Balthus came in, had his he just wanted to just develop himself. He's been destroying it. Ephraim's been absolutely destroying it. So I've been here just a week. A week basically. He's already got like a incredibly good girl already. And I think guys want this. This is the way of life that guys want to live. Traveling, finding interesting women, and getting your experiences, and eventually, you're finding someone you're gonna go and have that life adventure with, right? And it's just a case of getting over those fears. It's just a case of getting over those fears, which are socially constructed. It's the whole world has conspired against you to stop you from doing this. So it's not really surprising that guys are shitting themselves when they go out, is it? I was shitting myself. Well, I wasn't shitting myself on the first day out. I actually wasn't shitting myself. But there was one approach on my first day out, like the 10th one. It was a bus stop, and I was thinking, oh my God, she's incredible. That's my girl right there. I know that's my girl. And but she was at a bus stop. And that's my bus stop approach I'll never forget, because that I was truly afraid in that moment. I turned to my friend Christian and said, "Bruv, she's there. I'm afraid, mate." And he just told me exactly the right thing in the right moment, and I was in. 10 minutes later, I've got the girl's number. Yeah, it's those moments, right? It's those moments, and yeah, because I wasn't afraid. I think only because I'd done so much approach anyway. But a new guy coming in who's not very experienced, yeah, I can understand they'd be afraid. Absolutely normal. A lot of people are afraid to even speak to a new person in public anyway. You know, even like a barista, they can't even speak to in public. Never mind going to the extremes we're doing. So, yeah, guys have got fears. They've got fears of judgment. They've got fears that the girl's going to reject them. That's going to crush their worlds. There is literally no such thing as rejection. The more you do this, the more you realize there truly is no such thing as rejection. The girls who reject you, quote unquote, they are simply more willing to acknowledge that you are obviously not a fit. Obviously. Yeah? And if you're honest with yourself, the girls that you reject, that reject you, I would wager 90% of the time you'd actually go, yeah, we're definitely not a fit. If you had a few minute conversation with a girl, you think about it and you go, no, we're definitely not a fit at all. They're just more willing to admit it because we're egomaniacs that want to get every girl's number, want to sleep with all these girls, got the crazy sex drive. But actually, yeah, when you get a so-called rejection, it's just not the right fit. That's all it is. And the girls that it goes forward with, it's the right fit, it's the right girl. It's the right girl. And so, yeah, guys have been getting results, man. Guys have been getting results. John Scully has been getting results. Yeah. He got results on week 1 after his immersion. He only did a short immersion, already getting results on week 1. Yeah. But it is a long term. And guys, what other results have we had? Oh, we had a great, some good results on Saturday. A guy came in who was more experienced, actually. He was pretty experienced already. And he just wanted just a few tips and wanted to kind of, in a way, start to build his own community out as well, build his own base of contacts in this, because there's not many people who are into cold approach, let alone good at it. And yeah, just a few tips for him to take forward, and I think it's going to make him even better. But he was already getting numbers, and we actually had a great time. We did a few 2 sets together as well. So yeah, so guys have been getting good results with this. But really the ultimate result is just building self-confidence, understanding that this is a return to nature. It's a return to who you really are. And over time, it actually does become easy, to be honest with you. It does kind of become easy. Once you're in the right frame of mind, you're in the right zone. It's just easy. I find now, as I said before, like the ones I enjoy, I throw everything out the window. I throw all the techniques out the window, and I just go over and just absolutely, just I don't know, just hit them with some crazy energy and just have fun. That's kind of once it's like you have the scaffolding to build the house. Once the house is built, then you just take down the scaffolding. You don't need it anymore. That's kind of how some of my good approaches go these days. But that's not to say, it's not to say they're all going to go well. Sometimes they won't, you know. So yeah, we'll leave things there. It's been a long 90-minute live. I'm very happy with that. We've covered alpha males. You don't need to be an alpha male to be good at cold approach. In fact, that might even hurt you, if I'm being honest. We covered daddy vibes. We covered leadership. We covered brothenia and bratvarti. That's going to be our children in the future who are going to take over the world. We're going to have a new island of men. We're all going to have children, sons who are going to be cold approaching warriors. And yeah, how it really is just confidence and vibe. At the end of the day, if you have those 2 things, everything else is just irrelevant, to be honest. Everything else is just irrelevant. So once you get into that groove, you feel yourself. Remember that feeling. Because you wanna learn to tap into that feeling when you get yourself out there. So leave things there this evening, boys. It's been a nice personal one tonight. I've had some regular friends in here today. Ian, SB, John Scully, good to see you all. And yeah, well, I hope to see you on future lives, and maybe even a few of you down in Belgrade as well. Yeah. Take it easy, boys. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. It's been a pleasure. Laku noč. Buenas noches. Boa noite. Bonsoir.